high atop Mount Manitoba, NotInHallOfFame.com presents another episode of how the hell did this go number one? But sometimes when we ask that question, we're saying like, really, how the hell? But this is not one of those. This is not one of those. This is the theme from Shaft.
It is now.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But before we get there, this is a week late. Now, why would this be a week late? Why would it be? Because, yes.
Is Brad again?
Yes,
I Braded this one up.
Brad.
I did. I pulled a massive Brad.
The first bit of housekeeping is we were originally going to do Mambo number 5.
We were.
Unfortunately, Mambo number 5.
Monica. We couldn't have any Monica in our lives.
Couldn't have any Erica by my side.
Well, I didn't
Or
bother
Rita.
learning.
We didn't need her.
I didn't bother learning any of these other women because it didn't go number 1. It only went Mambo number 3.
Yeah, that's I looked, I thought I even double checked, and it went number 1 in what was it, in the EU or UK charts. Either way, it went number 1 somewhere. I read that and went, yeah, I got a good one, and I didn't.
Well, that's housekeeping bit number 1. Housekeeping bit number 2 is this is one of the funkiest songs ever. And do really 2 middle-aged white people and Blue-Eyed Soul right here.
No, you're still a white dude, middle-aged white dude.
I'm sorry, I believe the band was Hall, Oates, and Buchner. Anywho. We needed to get somebody to just sort of like make this a little bit more authentic, and we've got my buddy Lee from Barbados via Britain, the greatest, the absolute ultimate graphic artist. Wait, I can't wait to see when his graphic novel comes out. And if you need some cover art done, this is the man. Lee, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
I'm very well. Thank you. I'm not worthy.
It's the Buchnerverse. You're worthy.
That's what we call this.
The bar is low.
Dude, he let me in.
Yeah. Lee, the bar is low.
Yeah. So Lee and I were kind of pseudo neighbors, in Barbados, somewhat, sort of. And we certainly bonded because we both knew that we had both assholish tendencies, and I like to drink and you like to partake in other things. And it worked out well for us.
Kirk, you're an asshole?
I think it was Kirk, you're an
That's news to me, Kirk. That's news to me, Kirk.
Yeah, but I showed Lee some of the past work when it was just before Brad, when it was just Andrea and I.
Just the 2 of you.
We made it every try. See?
Yeah.
Hall, Oates, Buchner.
Huh?
Can
tell that they really hit their peak when they dropped the dead weight.
They dropped the Buchner.
I was going to say that was no way to talk about Oates, but thank you for that.
All I'm saying is Crosby, Stills, Nash, and who?
All right, fine. Maybe I'm the 6th Spice Girl, but that's okay.
The 5th Beatle.
Technically,
No.
they always argue that Billy Preston was the 5th Beatle.
I was going to say
Preston
there is a
did
5th
deserve.
Beatle.
Preston did deserve, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's the 6th Beatle. He's less important than Billy Preston.
Okay, but the 5th wheel.
That might have been Yoko.
No, she was the rock that punctured the damn wheel.
At some point, can you believe we've never done the Beatles yet?
It's just too much. It's too much for our
pick one?
Bullshit little half hour. Yeah, as Brad said, how do you pick one?
Well,
I've thought about Come Together or 8,000 other ones. Anyway. Let's get back to
so we got the people from Shaft, and man, what a special song. We're looking at 1971.
71.
Yeah, so 71, I believe it won the Oscar in 72. Here's something that blew my mind before, because I don't want to forget this, and I'm sure a lot of you probably read this too. I'm not really big on the Oscars, but
it's a Hall of Fame. Why not?
well, okay, no, but I'm not big on watching the Oscars. I should
Hmm.
reword that anymore. There's no point for me to watch a ceremony about movies I don't know, starring actors I've never heard of. And yes, I am the old man
Mm.
yelling at the cloud. I've
Mhm.
become that guy, and that's
Is it
okay.
me? Am I wrong? No, it's the children.
Okay, but did you watch the
Yes.
the performance of his performance at the Oscars? It was freaking MTV video worthy.
Oh, it was fantastic for its
It
time.
was.
The production quality of it, right down to like him coming out the tunnel with like the box and then like legs and heads and like random appendages sticking out of the tunnel at him. Like, I was like, this is for 72
71.
stage performance.
72
What the Oscars was
or-
71
yeah.
too. Oh, so anyway, still, it's phenomenal. And then his acceptance speech. So he was up against some big
Let's go here,
players.
since that's where we are. Andrew, do you have that list in front of you?
I don't, because my phone's dying, but Brad might.
I can pull it.
Yes, he can.
Um,
While you're doing that, something that really blew my mind more, that I did not realize that this is the first time that an African American won an award other than acting in the Oscars.
mhm.
It took 1972 for that to happen. Holy fuck,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
messed up.
I mean, I wasn't shocked by that when you think it took how long for an African American woman, and it was Halle Berry who's
No. It was Hattie McDaniel and Gone with the Wind.
Oh, wow.
supporting, not
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But when you mentioned,
Yeah,
when you
he took
mentioned that,
he took the Oscar for the arrangement for the song
Yeah.
itself.
Mhm. But who was he up against?
That one I was just pulling up over here.
Lee, what were you about to say?
with MTV, the first African American on MTV was, people say it was Michael Jackson with Beat It, but it was also what's his face, Herbie Hancock.
Oh yes.
And it had, because it had no, it was just all animatronic type stuff going on in the video. It wasn't any
Yeah.
pictures of black people. It was just like robots and stuff like that.
Mhm. But it was
Yeah.
Herbie Hancock's
That's a
music.
good point.
That was
Yeah.
for Rocket, wasn't it?
Rocket, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, to that point, when that song came out, I wasn't aware of Herbie's work before. I would have been 11, so why would I?
Yeah.
Frankly?
Yeah.
And yeah, no, that's a good point. You hear a name Herbie Hancock, you don't necessarily think that it's going to be the guy who who gave us all this other stuff.
Yeah.
If you don't know the background,
Phenomenal musician.
right? But you don't know that if that's your first thing for like
Yeah, you don't see his face in the video. You don't. He's not in the actual video period. It's just all robots and crazy like circuitry and retro futurism type stuff going on.
I can't find the list right now of who was competing with him, but yeah, you're right. There were a few big names.
Yeah.
Okay, but before this, Isaac Hayes, something I didn't know. I didn't know that he co-wrote one of my favorite soul songs from the 60s, Soul Man. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
he had
but like
written Soul Man and Hold On, I'm Coming.
oh yeah. I mean, that's all I was just checking it. They were like the record label he was signed to was Stax.
Mhm.
And Stax was like the more
Yeah.
hood, it was like a hood version of Motown. It was like
Yep.
more the artists were more rough around the edges, and they weren't particularly photogenic or anything. It was just like a lot of like random, it was just straight up like solid, like people like that were like more like, very soulful, and it wasn't anything about, it wasn't that polished. A lot of the guys on Stax weren't super polished. You
No,
know?
it was a much grittier version.
Yeah. It was a much grittier version of the Motown, the whole Motown look and sound and everything. Yeah. When because I only
Now
just saw
this-
that just now.
Sorry.
But I remember like yes, that's what Stax was kind of big for, is the fact that their shit was like close to the street. This is dope.
So this song had a couple of firsts. First black man to take away an Oscar.
Yeah.
For composition. Launched Richard Roundtree's career.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not. I don't think he even had a
He didn't have a credit to his name.
Okay, yeah.
But the funny thing is that he wrote, Isaac Hayes wrote the theme for Shaft on the promise he was going to get to play Shaft.
Well,
Yeah, he didn't even get to audition.
He didn't even get an audition.
Well, wasn't it the promise that he would get to try?
It's possible that he would get.
It was the promise he would get to audition, and he didn't get to audition. But then he became a big name actor in blaxploitation, like
in that genre, yes.
Yes.
Roundtree did.
Shaft in Africa. I got to rewatch that one.
Oh yeah. Shaft in Africa, the Shaft reboot with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Shaft reboot again in 2019.
Yeah, where he
Samuel L. Jackson.
He finds he has a son or something. He has an illegitimate son or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget Shaft 2, Electric Boogaloo. Wait a minute.
I think you're thinking of a different one there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so wait, to go back to the Oscars, he was up against Marvin Hamlish, Henry Mancini, and Robert Sherman, some Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. Like, he had some big competition. And if you watch the performance, he comes out shirtless, just wearing gold chains, like adorning his entire upper body. And the crowd went wild. Like, sex erupted in the audience of the Oscars.
Oh, I would have thrown my panties at him.
You would have. You still would today. It doesn't take much to get you to throw your panties, Brad.
Well, I'll throw my panties at nearly anyone, yeah.
I guess it was
but then he also, so with the Oscars, he brought his grandmother because his parents died when he was young. He came from nothing. His grandparents, who were sharecroppers, raised him. So he brought his grandmother to the Oscars, and then I think she was the only one that he thanked in his acceptance speech. Like, or no, he thanked a few people, but he strongly credited his grandmother. And I just think that is so sweet.
Do you think that, and I was trying to find an interview on this. So he's going up against a lot
Harry Mancini.
Right, but a lot of classical composers, like sort of a lot with Broadway things. He's the outlier.
Oh, he totally is.
In some ways, sort of a good thing. Because I mean, it sort of makes you.
Well, yeah, because you're giving him something different,
right?
Because like Henry Mancini, he's talking to the guy that did Breakfast at Tiffany's. He's talking to the guy that did the Pink Panther theme music. You know, that's like a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? And for someone like him to come in, that's like kind of coming out of the left. You know what I mean? Some, like you said, black dude, bearing his muscles and oiled up with fucking chains on and singing.
Yeah, it was
music.
Well, not just
Dark Horse.
Not just a black dude in 1971. We're talking about a bald black dude when everyone had hair up their wazoo.
Yeah.
You know, you could count on one hand the amount of bald celebrities in the 70s.
Telly Savalas,
Yul Brynner.
That's all I got.
Yul Brynner, definitely.
Yul Brynner,
yeah. We haven't even got to a full hand.
Wait, who's the guy from Kung Fu? Although that was a bald cap, wasn't it?
Everybody was Kung Fu from
David Carradine.
Okay.
Yeah, David Carradine, because
but you also had Hot Chocolate, who was all like he was crazy ball as well. He was super ball. You know, what's his name? What's the Hot Chocolate singer? I Believe in Miracles. Yeah, Home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he was part of an ensemble, essentially, even though he was the lead.
So how do we track Isaac Hayes' meteoric rise to then him playing the dirty singing cafeteria chef on South Park?
Well, have we even got to, I think we should still look at this song before we get there, because I do want to get
there.
Yeah,
we got a while to go, I think, before we get to South Park.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. Not only did you get ahead of yourself, you were behind yourself like a week, you dipshit.
Well, I'm catching up now.
Sorry.
This song, so let's look at it. It's what, a minute and a 3/4 of instrumental that's just super funky bass that just builds on itself. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Just it starts out with a fun line, and then it builds and it adds and it builds. It's probably one of the best minutes and a half of no vocals leading up to anything. It builds and it. So we're talking a movie theme.
No, we're talking about Shaft.
And so, but yeah, so it starts out and it's like this groovy, funky beat, and then it adds suspense and it adds tension.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you get that lilting flute in there too, so it seems light.
And then the voice comes in and in like what he literally has 5 statements about Shaft.
Yep.
And all of them pretty much say everything you need to know about this character and about the whole movie and about the whole genre. Of, so what is it?
Let's get to that. Let's get to those 5
What
ones.
are the 5 statements?
Who's the black private dick that makes
Who gets all the chicks?
Who gets all the chicks? That's the one. Yeah.
It's Shaft.
Oh, yes, you got it. You're right.
Okay. All right. Okay, give me another one.
Now, some folks say that Shaft is one bad mother.
Shut
your
your
mouth.
mouth.
Just talking about Shaft.
I could dig it.
I love it. I can dig it. Got it in there, man.
Damn straight. He says it damn straight, or I can dig it. Something I can't remember.
Damn right.
And there's
Damn right.
who is crap? What is it? Who's
the
gonna
man who wouldn't turn his back on a brother man?
Shaft?
Yeah, that's the one.
And the last one is
Isn't there a 4th one?
Who's the man that no one understands him but his woman?
Even though if
He's
you
a
watch that
complicated
movie,
man, but nobody understands him.
That is the one that's probably not true, because nowhere in that movie do we know that his woman understands him or that he even has one woman. I'm pretty sure he has many, many women.
Well, statement number 5 contradicts statement number 1 because, I mean, like, he's a sex machine. And so, like,
yeah, but I can't remember what statement number 4 is. There's got to be one more here.
I'm just going to say that anyone who's a sex machine is not monogamous.
Well, you're right there.
Okay, Lee, as you get to know Brad, that you wouldn't think it, but let me tell you. I'll leave it at that.
We won't talk about the accidental orgies.
Here's our lyrics
Brad.
here. Who's the black private dick that's a sex machine to all the chicks?
Shaft.
Shaft.
Damn right. Who's the man who would risk his neck for his brother man?
Shaft.
Can you dig it? Who's the cat that won't cop out when there's danger all about?
Shaft.
Shaft.
Right on.
Okay.
And then they say this cat Shaft is a bad mother.
Shut your mouth.
But I'm talking about Shaft.
Shaft.
Then we can dig it.
We can dig it.
And then he's a complicated man, but nobody understands him but his woman, John Shaft.
John Shaft.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's the lyrics.
I
mean,
can't believe you didn't bother to look up some history on the movie to see, like, I wonder if it focused on, no, I mean, like, I watched the movie a few times, but I haven't watched it lately. I think I really needed to. I've got whoever sort of like designed it. Obviously, they knew what they were doing when they sort of like decided, you know what, we're gonna make the character name synonymous.
Risque. It's gonna be risque, sure.
Okay, but you also have to look at the song itself and the fact that he is both serious and taking the piss at the same time.
Well,
you can't create this song. You can't create the song without being serious about it. But it also, he knows it's fucking funny. So, and you listen to it, even if you're not looking at him performing, and you can just hear the glint in his eye as he's being cheeky about the song.
Well, because it is a blaxploitation film when it comes right down to it. It was the starting or the beginning of a blaxploitation film.
Early, yep.
Yeah, this was some businessman. I don't know if he was Jewish or not, but it was a white businessman who wrote Shaft.
Okay.
The movie, wrote the screenplay for it.
Because usually Jewish people aren't involved in Hollywood productions.
No, hardly ever. Hardly ever.
And this was early on, but then there were some brilliant soundtracks to blaxploitation movies.
Yeah,
The movies
and round three
themselves
starred in them all.
They were terribly produced. They were enjoyable. So they're good, but not quality. But I like Marvin Gaye, and there's a ton of big name musicians that created some of the soundtracks for some of the blaxploitation movies that they were great, like really good soul R&B, like deep funky tunes and entire soundtracks. This soundtrack was a soundtrack, and he really created it. I mean, the theme song is great. It builds tension, but then he actually created a good soundtrack. Not a great album, but a good soundtrack.
You mean score or soundtrack, Andrea?
It's almost like the Jaws theme.
Yeah.
You know, you know, synonymous. You hear that music, you know, that Jaws is in the water, he's a couple meters away, you're dead.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So you know when you hear this, they're doing Shaft. I mean, I've got a list here of all the movies and some of the TV shows that it's been in. Andrea, you sent over the link for News Radio.
Simpsons. Lisa Simpson did her version, and when she did a talent show on The Simpsons. I can't remember what episode that was, but it
was it wasn't the talent show. It was the Japanese karaoke on The Simpsons. There was the Cookie Monster.
Yes, that you sent over.
From the
Cookie
Muppets.
Monster doing it.
There was the News Radio.
But I've got Bobby Fischer Against the World, Are We There Yet? Love Stinks, Home for the Holidays, Tank Girl, Above the Rim, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, Soul Man, Black Heat, and The Lumberjack.
Wait, Bobby Fischer Against the World. What? Oh, you were saying chess, Lee. What?
No, Bobby Fischer Against the World. These are all movies that have had the Shaft theme in it.
Okay, yeah.
And then for shows, I mean, there's a couple with
definitely part of like the pop culture landscape, man. It's iconic, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know,
you know what blew my mind with all of this though is this went #1, but not on the R&B chart.
Really?
Yeah, that's right.
It was #2. Like, what?
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I stumbled across that just on my break from the job I hate. Ooh, a haiku. See what I did there? Yeah. So I don't get that.
No, it's a weird thing because I don't know about you guys. I wasn't born in 71, so I can't really speak to the climate at the time, but you still had a fair amount of segregation between black and white music.
Sure, but how did that not go #1 in what was then essentially the black chart?
No, I think because Hayes wrote this song that winds up being so catchy. I mean, honestly, at the time, at least, the vote for white music would have been higher. I don't know why it would have gone to #1 on the regular Billboard chart, on the world, on the U.S. Billboard Top 100 or whatever, and why it didn't chart on, what was it up?
It did, went #2. I mean,
why didn't it hit #1?
Yeah,
on the R&B.
You know what hit #1 on the R&B?
At that same time, what?
Yeah.
Oh, do I? Or you ask? Oh, that was.
I'm asking you.
No, I don't know.
Okay, I'll look that up here too while I'm here.
I don't know what went #1 at that point in time. I was just more stuck on stupid on that I didn't bother investigating any further. That would have involved work, and I passed because I was too busy sort of like signing autographs from my time in Hall or Buchner.
Okay.
So I think we might be at a point to talk about some chocolate salty balls.
Oh, you know, and when you talk about chef, you know, you're talking about chocolate salty balls.
Okay, but the 70s, Isaac Hayes had that one monster hit. I think there are some people who actually thought that he was a one-hit wonder, which was not quite true. He
not only one hit.
No, but he
did a version of Dionne Warwick's "Walk On By" as well, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, a really
which was
version.
totally different and almost not recognizable, but fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No,
Very
Hayes
sad.
always had a bit of a flair that
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say it was iconic. I wouldn't be able to if I went, if I had no memory of Isaac Hayes and you played me one or two of his songs, I don't think I'd be able to identify a third and a fourth kind of thing that has earmark on it.
But
But
once you heard his voice.
when you hear his voice, absolutely. But the funny thing is with like between him and P-Funk or even George Clinton on his own, just some bass lines, some funk that will just it coats your ears, man. It's like honey.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like it's just I don't know why he didn't get more attention. I honestly think that he should have.
Okay, but he did. He is an inductee in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So the peers and those in that genre, like in the musical genre, did give him the ultimate honor. And he wasn't on the back burner for a long time.
It was.
Well, he was not. No.
Well, he was inducted in 91.
I'm not sure, but I know he wasn't a long wait. Like when I first started following that shit, he was already inducted. And that would have been
because I think it was 71. This comes out 72. He takes the Grammy, and 91 he was inducted, if I'm not mistaken.
So if that's true, and maybe someone can look that up while we're talking about that, then that's about as early as you almost get, because you don't qualify unless you're 25 years into your career.
Hang on here. Let's find out. I'm not going to bother typing it this time.
2005.
Oh, there we go. 2005. So yeah,
sounds about right.
26 years into his release of the theme song for Shaft.
36.
And there he is.
36.
Well, I can't count. I'm just this
That's
pretty.
okay. You're pretty.
Yeah, exactly. I'm this pretty. I don't get the math skills too. Like Barbie once said, math is hard.
Barbie also said, Ken, where's your dick? But anyway.
You know what? You know why Barbie doesn't get pregnant ever?
Why?
It's because Ken doesn't have a dick.
No, it's because Ken comes in another box.
So Lee, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I don't. You know what? I'm just I'm learning. This is a learning experience. I know pieces. I'm not gonna like. Sorry, I did not do any fact checking or any Google searches or anything before this. I was just gonna be me that just and brought the parts that knew about fucking Isaac Hayes.
No, it's okay. Kirk didn't either.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, Isaac Hayes, he did this, he chef. Great. So that's good.
Okay,
We got this angle coming. We got this angle coming.
We haven't talked about the chocolate salty balls yet.
We haven't. So how did South Park decide?
Yeah. So
how did South Park decide on Chef being Isaac Hayes?
Scientology. I don't know.
Well, that was the end part, but
yeah,
well, okay. I guess you got two guys who I guess are they our age or older?
I think they're just a little bit older.
Okay.
They're
Parker and
around,
Stone.
yeah. They're probably about 50 at this point.
Okay.
Just a smidge older than you old dudes.
Hey, all the old dudes is the new song, all right? None of this young dudes shit. It's all the old dudes.
All the old dudes carry the blues. Oh, not the hoople. Anyway,
well, I guess that's why they call it the blues.
Oh shit! I get it one. Yeah.
Well done. Yeah. But there was a great resurrection for Isaac Hayes.
Yes.
Except
suck on my chocolate salted balls.
Oh, that was
put them in your mouth and suck them. Yeah, you can't hear Isaac Hayes without thinking about Chef.
We're children.
Yeah.
But the sad part
Chef,
is,
and he did a track with Wu. He did that track. He did a track with Ghostface Killer. I Can't Go to Sleep.
Oh,
I didn't know about this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I Can't Go to Sleep. It came out around the second Wu-Tang album. What's that? Wu-Tang's what's that called again? Wu-Tang's Forever or whatever. The Triumph. but he had a song with Ghostface. I Can't Go to Sleep. Really shitty tune. I didn't really like it, but yeah.
Is that the one that Tricky
Yeah,
sampled?
I'm not sure if Tricky sampled it. Let's check.
Okay.
Let me see.
But yeah, so we go to this. Now, Isaac Hayes was cool with them making fun of everybody.
Yeah.
And he was
That part.
cool during the recording of the Scientology episode. And then when it aired, he saw it and what they did with it, and he was suddenly not cool.
Okay, was it he saw it, or at that point, the people around him? Because Scientologists, as we've learned since, we kind of knew it then.
The power of Cruz compels you.
Nice. We're far more, how do I put this?
Culty?
Well, than we knew.
Mm-hmm.
Then we actually understood. We knew that Tom Cruise was messed up to a point, but he still put out a lot of good stuff.
Jumping on Oprah's furniture.
Right. Well, yeah.
Hey, the new Top Gun is pretty great.
Yes.
What's that, Lee?
She said yes. No, Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah, the couch jumping incident. Yeah, that was.
Hey, maybe there's
I've only
something
seen
to
clips
that.
of it, man, and it just, I don't know if Cruz could sit back and watch himself and be like, I'm proud of what I did there.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm segueing out of here, but I forget which comic it was. It was talking about this on the Rogan podcast, and it was like Tom Cruise. They met Tom Cruise for the first time. It was at some party, and it's like, isn't it great that we've got our wives and we get to go home and like have sex with our wives? Like a sentence that would never be said by any married person.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure your wife's not around there, Kirk.
No, but I mean,
Yeah,
like, that's
because
not,
Kirk, isn't it great that you get to come home and have sex with your wife?
I don't leave home. I work from home. But anyway.
But isn't it
Yeah.
great
Trying
that
to
you get-
support you there, Kirk.
Dude, I'm trying. I want to dig
No,
you out of
you
whatever.
know what I mean.
hole you're
It's like
getting
a bunch
yourself
of
into.
guys they're not saying whatever. I mean, either way, at that point, what I didn't know is, and I can't get my timeline straight because things are conflicting with each other, where Isaac did have a stroke. So at some point, I don't know if he lost his faculties. I don't know what really happened, but from what his son said, Isaac Hayes wasn't Isaac Hayes so much anymore, and that he didn't really have a whole lot to do with that statement that came out.
Mm,
And
it could have been handlers, you think?
that's what he thinks. His son thinks.
Wait, Lee's got a finger up.
Hit it, Lee.
Yes, Brad. Yeah, because you asked about the Tricky sample,
Yeah.
and he sampled Ike's Rap, some song called Ike's Rap, and it's
Okay.
from Black Moses, from the Black
Okay.
Moses album.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry, 5 minutes later.
No. It's good. It's
Yeah, but this is what we do.
Yeah, as
Oh,
opposed to the tight ship I've been running since day one.
Oh yeah, everybody falls in line. Nothing happens without Kirk's say so here. I mean, I
half
don't
the time
act
we
like
have to
this
call you
normally.
off because you're too drunk.
Not half the time. I think there's a certain healthy percentage, but it's not half.
That's only happened.
Probably 20%.
I'd say
Actually, it's cut back. It was
Mhm.
probably 20% when we started, and now we're down significantly.
in the time that I've been with you guys, I think I've only had to help you outro the thing twice. And Andrea, excuse me.
Anyway,
There
let's
was times
get
you started
back.
off
Let's
brilliantly.
forget
Oh,
this.
sorry.
and
Hang
let's
on. Moving right along.
Yes, thank you.
Doom. Sorry.
Do we have anything more to say about Isaac Hayes?
Did he make any Sesame Street appearance? Was he on Sesame Street at all?
He was not, however, Andrea.
Cookie Monster had a performance playing Cookie Monster to the Shaft theme.
With a beard.
Okay, dope.
Oh, I was like, is this Cookie Monster being Elton John with a beard? Like he had crazy glasses and crazy like sparkles and
Yeah.
but yeah, he came out
He was talking about cookies.
Yeah. And then he just basically destroyed the whole set of the Muppets,
Oh, yeah.
eating things because he was so hungry.
Or
Yeah.
cookies.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
So
one thing-
I'm almost a professional at finding the Muppets versions of any
You-
song that we do.
You're
Yeah.
our resident Muppetologist.
Oh, yeah, that was all used to be all filmed in London, in England.
Oh, really?
A lot of the Muppets. Yeah, it was filmed in England. A lot of it.
Wait a
was filmed.
minute. Wait a minute. Sesame Street's really not on in the U.S.
It was done in
Sesame
Harlem.
Street was more Canadian than US.
It filmed in New York, in Harlem,
Well, look what I learned.
and the Muppets was done in England,
It's
and
time to
also
getting started.
as far as
Time to get it right.
sorry for cutting you, Brad.
No, I
Brad's
was
just singing the Muppets theme song. Don't worry about cutting him off. Please continue.
Oh no, that's Fraggle Rock. As far as Fraggle Rock, I remember there was two versions of Fraggle Rock. There was a British
Fraggle
version, and there was
Rock.
an American version. There was a British version and an American version. So all the puppet parts were done in America, and for the British version, they had British actors with Sprocket. You remember they had the human Sprocket, and I can't remember the dude, but yeah, there was a British actor for the British series, and in
yes.
America there was
He's
a
the dude that was the bartender in Brad, what's the
Boondock Saints.
Boondock
I
Saints,
was
thank you.
so that blew my mind when I first found out. That's my only Fraggle Rock trivia I've ever had is the fact
Okay.
that the Tourette's bartender in Boondock Saints was the dude
Was
with
Sprocket.
the dog in the when it was Sprocket's master.
Also,
I
the
gotta
British
say-
version was shot on the left.
I have to say though, Fraggle Rock was created as a way to try to unify people internationally. It was like this experiment of let's create this like underworld world that there are no countries and everybody just exists and it's brilliant.
That
And
worked out.
they tried to recreate it recently and I haven't seen it. Like apparently
That's
there
the
is a
Fraggle play.
recreation of it in the last year. I don't think it's been produced yet.
Yeah, no, well, I don't think that. I think the conditions under the time and the conditions when Fraggle Rock was made, you can't replicate that, and part of that is part of the actual, the end result. We can't.
You're 100% right there,
Yeah.
Lee. Because you
You
couldn't
don't mind how
get-
we try to reboot anything. We can't capture the same magic. You can't
Yeah,
capture that same magic.
you're right.
And the conditions are
Fraggle
completely
Rock was
different.
Canadian.
Like Fraggle Rock and the Muppet Show, you're thinking, when I think of the Fraggle Rock and Muppet Show, I think of Frank Zappa. I think of a Frank Zappa show,
Mhm,
a Frank Zappa album.
Sure.
But you
know.
couldn't get that these days. You couldn't get a reboot of Sesame Street, of the Muppets, of Fraggle Rock. You couldn't get a what do you call it? You couldn't get a Mr. Rogers on TV again.
Oh no, you couldn't.
No.
You couldn't.
We-
Mr. Rogers will have to be trapping or something, but you couldn't do it.
Well, you could, but Mr. Rogers would have to be non-binary.
Yeah. Well, and then not that we have any problem with that. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, there's no issues with that because the character of Mr. Rogers is just
Your friendly neighbor.
it's just your friendly neighbor. It doesn't matter what gender they are, so none of that matters. But
I loved how groundbreaking Sesame Street was. How the
You
Muppets
did
would the Muppets would take the piss out of pop culture. Like the first time I ever saw Alice Cooper as a kid, he did Welcome to My Nightmare on the Muppets.
yeah.
And
Okay.
This
that
is
was
part of the reason why every time we do a song, I try my darndest to find the Muppets version of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
To that point, actually, now that I think about it, first time I ever saw Elton John was doing Crocodile Rock on the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Now
And
that
the
I
funny
think
thing
about it.
was, I mean, they would have jokes that the adults would get, and they have jokes that the kids would get, and you wouldn't get the adult humor that was sprinkled in there. Like, I still remember watching it. Remember when they had those ballroom scenes where everybody's dancing?
Yeah.
Okay, and the one person says to the other person, they're dancing away there, and his wig starts moving, And she says, how do you take such good care of your hair? Do you use shampoo? And he says, nope, I use the real stuff. And I never got that. I had to have that joke explained to me as a kid. Shampoo, what's real stuff? You know, because sham is a scam and it's poo, and yeah. So
we've come a long way from when Andrea used to sort of like talk about Gonzo's sex life. Well, that was me.
yeah.
That was you.
Was he
Gonzo
into
had a
chickens
step-
or was he into chicken?
Gonzo's girlfriend, that's Camille. That's the name of the chicken,
It's
right?
Camille the chicken. Yes.
It was some weird alien dude banging a chicken, and we were all okay with it.
Well, it was consensual.
We didn't know he was an
Camille seemed
alien
on
back
board.
then. Though. We
Oh,
thought
as
we all
long-
thought he was
Consensual.
Oh, Camilla. It was Camilla. Sorry, not
Yeah.
Camilla.
I'm sorry. As long as it's consensual, it's okay that bestiality is involved. My bad.
Okay.
So
First of all, they're Muppets.
let's go back to Isaac Hayes because we
Back
go
to- never had sex with a
way
chicken,
off.
allegedly.
So yes, Isaac Hayes unfortunately did have a stroke. Unfortunately, left South Park and left a big gaping hole where Chef used to be.
Mhm.
But he brought funk to the masses. He brought one hell of a theme song. Even people who have never seen the movie will recognize the theme from Shaft.
True.
Mhm.
Very true. This is a great choice by you, Brad. I'm really happy. Also, I just want to like point out here, I'm happy that Lee's here also too, just to have a throwback. Because if you listen, we can hear the whistling frogs.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's pretty money of Barbados. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh.
I couldn't tell. I thought you had a squeaky thing going on or whatever.
No. Those are frogs and cricket. That's mainly frogs.
Nice.
Yeah, you're in Barbados. It's the whistling frogs.
Yeah.
And we haven't been distracted by Kirk's whistling frogs in
Right.
a
Yeah.
while.
It takes me back when Lee and I we would just like and when we used to play it, like you would just like bring back like we would just like play shit from like I remember this and it's like
Steely Dan.
yeah.
Play a lot of Steely Dan. A bit of Anita Baker, Public Enemy.
Nice.
Yeah, just everything.
Oh,
So while we got you guys all here and together, this is something we haven't talked about before, but it's music related.
Alcoholism? I thought we did. Oh, sorry.
No. That's called an intervention, Kirk, and we'll have one for you shortly. But what I was getting to.
Well done. Well done. I thought you were gonna like do a foul tip. I did not expect a ground rule double out of that one. Well done.
Wait, I'll steal another base here in a second.
Nice.
If you guys could only have 3 albums to listen to for the rest of your life, what would those ones be? And I think we should start with Kirk because he is, the chairman.
Okay, Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
It might be bad, but it's one of my favorite all-time ones. I'm a disco apologist. I've said that over and over, and I stand by that. It's a guilty pleasure, and at some point when we do the transition to how the hell was this a hit? Because we're getting closer to that.
Yep.
Because it's going to be like a giant spectacular where we look at the 5 songs that went #1 off that album. It's 5 or 4. It's a lot. That one, I would.
Okay, we got 2.
Yep. Just because I would go just hot rocks, so like the greatest hits of Rolling Stones.
Greatest hits is a cop out, dude.
Fine. Okay.
Hey, you asked. That's an album.
It's true. It is an album. It was released as an album, but I don't know. I figured like an album is when it came out.
I'll take it out.
All right, Brad.
I'll gladly take it out. I got no problem with that. But
Okay.
I thought it's sort of like one of those desert island playlists, shit like that. So
Yeah, exactly. You've got 3 albums to listen to for the rest of your life.
right, because I'm not going to get tired of the Rolling Stones. So, but if I were to go like back with that, because I mean, like they're, God, it spans so much to me.
Oh, 100% it does. I mean, their music evolved over the decades.
Also, I didn't know there was homework. Usually I'm the lesson planner here. All right, but no, fuck it. I'm gonna stick with that because
Stick with the greatest hits. Okay.
Because I had that as a cassette as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and because like that was a pretty big deal for me. And then just to mix shit up, I would have Combat Rock Clash.
Oh, nice. Okay, Andrea, how about you?
No, you first.
Okay.
You asked it. You first.
I'm gonna do Pink Floyd The Wall.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put Fleetwood Mac Rumors in there, and Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell.
Hmm.
And who's next?
Well, I called out Andrea, so we're gonna
Right,
give
let
me a
me think.
minute to think on it.
I'm
I
gonna
think we probably got it,
say Abbey Road.
though.
I'm gonna be super sappy and go with Joni Mitchell Blue.
Oh, nothing
No
wrong
wrong
with
answer.
Joni.
Oh. I don't know. I'm super torn.
Oh, Natalie Imbruglia.
Beat me by 2 seconds on that one.
Maybe Queen Night at the Opera to go for something different.
Oh, yes, a little bit of
All right,
Queen.
Lee, you got the hammer on this one, brother. What do you got?
Okay. Terry Fair's Music from the Chair. De La Soul.
It'd outclass us all,
No.
man.
De La Soul is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that one doesn't surprise me because you and I spent time listening to that one. The first,
Yeah, I love that.
oh my
I love
God.
De La Soul.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah.
I love De La Soul. I'm a De La Soul fanboy. And Patrice Rushen. The album was Settle for My Love.
Which one was that? I missed it.
Patrice Rushen's Settle for My Love.
Oh, that
I
one.
don't know that. Okay, I'm gonna have to look for that.
Forget me not.
Let me see the name of it. Let me get the name of the album. Hold up. Patrice
Yeah.
Rushen. Let's get it. Oh no. Yeah, well, It's
Oh,
between Patrice Rushen and Tina Marie's It Must Be a Magic album.
I have not heard Tina Marie's name mentioned in years.
I love Tina Marie.
Tina Marie.
I love Tina Marie. I was supposed to see her.
You would
before she died. I was
recognize.
supposed to see her. She was supposed to perform in London she died in December. I remember she died something crazy like if it wasn't Christmas Eve,
She's
it was
dead?
Huh?
I didn't know she passed.
Yeah, it was like 2010. That was what she was supposed to have a show in London in January.
Damn.
And the lady I was married to at the time, we were like, yeah, we're gonna go see Tina Marie in January. I've never seen her because that was like, I remember 2009.
Whoa. You were married?
Yeah, I was married.
Well, I'm glad to see you fixed it.
How the hell were we
No.
hanging out all this time and I didn't even know that?
Yeah, I don't really talk about it. I mean, like, yeah, it's something that messed up. So like,
crap.
yeah. I wish
So
I was
there we
still.
go. We have looked into Isaac Hayes. We've talked about 3 great albums of all time. We've talked briefly about Richard Roundtree.
Yeah.
A little bit too long about Chef.
Mhm.
But
Well,
I think Chef doesn't get all the credit.
Some of our shafts are longer than others.
Chef, not Shaft.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And besides, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to be nice this time.
What are you nice?
It was right there.
So
Well,
whose go is it to pick this time?
Oh, it's mine.
No, it's mine.
Who picked the one before this?
You.
What was it?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, hang on. Let's find out. I'm going to go and look at our YouTube page.
What's that? What are we looking at?
Well, okay. Well, we alternate who decides
The next song.
one.
And I had one prepared for this one because you had the last one.
Okay. So the last
I always
one
thought that it was like
picked-
Brad. Okay, well, fine.
Hang on here. I got to get through our little intro and then where are we there? Not in Hall of Fame playlists.
And well, some of them aren't even up yet. So my webmaster.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because my webmaster, I mean, like it's not time sensitive, right? So.
Yeah. So what was before this one?
Apparently, none of us remember.
No, I remember.
1 second.
I'll look it up because it's still sitting on probably on because I just keep it.
I never keep my notes.
Well, no, I just keep it there until like it's on my desktop until I don't have to keep it there anymore.
Brad wanted Lou Bega.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
It was Nana Hey Hey Kiss Him Goodbye.
Oh, it was. Yes.
That was yours.
So
I'm
Andrea,
wrong.
as always, follows in my footsteps.
The piece of shit that I have for us next
Please
week.
tell me it's a piece of shit. Please.
It would be nice to have a piece of shit finally.
But I have arms wide open for you.
Oh no, is this Creed?
It is.
Oh God. With arms wide open.
Creed.
Creed
Oh.
is a shitty grunge band that did one song that hit, disappeared off the map. They had like 2 or 3 other songs that like barely charted.
Yeah, Kirk, you have dished out so much shit to us.
Oh yeah.
This is retribution.
Basically,
What about Green Jelly?
Creed
What about
is
Green
what,
Jelly?
Oh, Green Jelly is awesome, but they
Green
never
Jelly
charted.
never went number one.
No.
They never tried it. Oh no.
The bear
They're big
went
in
over the
London.
mountain to see what he could see, but the other side of the mountain is all that he could see.
That's dope. Love it.
Green Jelly, Primus, that kind of shit, man, that is on my nerd rock playlist.
Mhm.
But they never tried. That's all they tried. They were big in London. People
No,
loved
nothing
it.
wrong with Green Jelly. Doom doodle doom doom. Green Jelly sucks.
How did I not think? How did I get that all wrong? Thinking I was sex. I had something lined up. I had a whole speech on this. Okay,
No,
well,
You can
that
do it next
basically-
week.
Well,
Creed
that-
is what would happen if you went to buy Pearl Jam at the dollar store.
It's Pearl Jam on Wish.
oh, Marmalade.
So wish for the Pearl Jam.
All
Nice.
right, fine.
Green Jelly.
Don't worry. Kirk,
Hey,
you
hey.
can save your big steaming pile of turd for next time.
But-
It doesn't seem as bad as that.
Kirk,
Yeah.
I heard you wrote a book.
Wait, he did not write a book.
I did.
Kirk can't
Not
read.
only
He
did I
can't
write-
write a book.
Not only did I write one, you can get that on Amazon.
Oh snap! Yeah.
Can I shop for it with my pajamas on?
Or with them on.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Well, my daughter's living with me now, which is why I'm broadcasting from the bedroom. So I have to wear my pajamas.
I thought that's why you said you were broadcasting with clothes on, because
Yes, that is why he's broadcasting with clothes on, because
Listen, I haven't gotten topless on a podcast now in at least 2 episodes.
yeah, that's like 3 weeks. It's a
Pretty
lot of
good.
time.
It's been 3 weeks since I went topless.
we've already done that. That was in
Oh.
the before times. Yes, Chavo Guerrero, instant classic. You can read, not hear, because I didn't do an audiobook. I mean, I could, but he's dead, so I'd have to do it.
I could narrate it for you.
Brad's got a good narration voice.
Yeah, but what?
Chavo Guerrera, instant classic, written by Kirk Buchner here on NPR.
That
Actually,
worked
that's my
until you
problem. I hate
realize
to
that-
hear myself. I hate to hear myself already. That's my problem. I don't have it like that. My voice is some shit.
Yeah, everything's all fine and good until you realize that Chavo actually sounded like Cheech. But anyway,
Tell me about your sweaty balls. I saw you brought your sweaty balls into the office or into the radio station today.
I mean, am I the one of the more mature ones in this? Not.
Yes, you probably are.
If you're comparing yourself to me, yes. If you're comparing yourself to Andrea, maybe. If you're comparing yourself to Lee, who is a very well comported young gentleman, then no.
You don't know
Yes.
Lee like I know Lee. But anywho,
That's
So,
true.
Kirk, tell us about the Not in Hall of Fame.
oh well, Not in Hall of Fame. You can check out so many things on notinhalloffame.com, notinhalloffame.com. Hey, the United States Athletic Hall of Fame, the week after the Super Bowl, we are going to announce the first class, and you can vote in that.
That's the one about the big bird, right? That hears really well.
Yeah, that's the exact one.
The Super Bowl. Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah. Sports ball. www.notinhalloffame.com /USA. Also, too, Hey, I have
Hey.
another show coming out. Actually, it's already up with Chris Burnett and I, where we look at the Harlem Globetrotters visit Gilligan's Island.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, yeah. What a piece of shit that was. On this crap was on national television. And it was crap. And it was on national television. We look at that. We've picked one for next week. I think I mentioned that, or maybe I didn't. We're
You
looking
haven't.
I haven't. Well, Chris hasn't watched it yet, so once he does, we'll get to it. It's the season premiere of Manimal.
Oh, I loved Manimal.
Dope.
Brad wants to be included.
Manimal.
No, well, no, I don't have to be included on this one, but it was. I went back and I tried to watch it in the mid 2000s. It
Why?
does not hold up.
It didn't hold up in 1983.
In 1983, okay, that was pretty good. That was around the time of Airwolf and Knight Rider and stuff like that. I mean, it was a few years before Misfits of Science and Automan, but
Yeah.
you know, Manimal was awesome because at the time in 1983, 10-year-old Brad was sitting there going, wow, this guy can turn into different animals. And we would play this outside with my friends and stuff, and it was cool.
For
And then
one year, for one season.
One season, exactly. But then you go back and you try to watch this shit. Oh, baby, it does not hold up. Like you can't.
Wow.
Yo, I'll tell you something that I actually rewatched that was pretty decent, really decent.
What held up?
The very first what's that, Greatest American Hero? First episode?
Yeah. I mean, all Greatest American Hero was a spin on Shazam.
Yeah, it was a spin on Shazam, but if you watch the pilot series, the actual pilot episode, it's so well put together. It's not corny. The cult is like the villains are pretty believable and dark. It's not like comic book. Oh, we've got you now, blah blah.
Yeah.
No, this is some dark cult that's killing people. And yeah, I remember because I watched it. I think I watched it about 3 years ago. I tried to watch it like 3 years ago, and it was pretty decent. You know what I mean?
That's a theme song that will always stick in my head. You know, I don't think anybody has ever seen that. I never thought I could fly so high, high, high.
Wow, what a deep cut. That's actually the later chorus.
What?
That was
Thought I could be so free.
I thought there was a couple of them because the free EE is at the end because then they say, believe it or not, it's just me.
I thought it was the end. I could be wrong. Whatever. Either way, this was that was at least lasted more than 1 year.
Greatest American Hero, yeah. Didn't they have 3 seasons?
I'm not sure how many seasons, but I used to see it in pieces. I was a kid. Like Greatest American Hero came out when I was like 6 or 7. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember what else is pretty decent, man? I mean, they've really improved on the big heroes, and they've gone back really naff. You know, they've really as far as the superhero genre. There's one point where I couldn't miss a Marvel movie, the MC thing. I was a big thing. I was really into that because we
when
we
didn't
were
have
kids,
much back then other than like the Superman movie.
Though looking back though at that whole thing with the Great American Hero, man, they really ripped off that logo from the Green Lantern though, didn't they?
They did it a little.
Yeah.
Well, the Greatest American Hero was an amalgamation of everything they couldn't use because they didn't want to pay for the licensing. You know, it's Superman, it's Shazam, it's Green Lantern. You know, it's a bunch of different things like that because Shazam is the accidental hero, kind of like what the Tick was modeled on.
Yeah, I think, and also too, like he's also he's also an amalgamation of like the Blue Beetle because the Blue Beetle gets his powers from like a tech suit, an alien tech suit. You know, like alien, like ancient Egyptian. What's the scarab beetle? Some scarab beetle joint that he gets his the power from. It's like the suit or whatever.
Like,
so it's
Andrea, what's your battle
sequel,
cry?
the Above Average American.
Andrea, what's your battle cry? Oh. Here, I thought you were going to give a spoon or not in the face.
Not in the face is not really a battle cry. It's more of a defensive cry.
All right. I'm going to take the high road here. I'm going to end this now. Okay, kids.
Oh, I peed a little.
Wherever you all are, wherever you may be, stay safe, my friends. And thank you for visiting the Buckner.
Bucknerverse.
Jazz hands. Good night, everybody.
Bye.